Digital nomads are people who have left the 9 to 5. They've ditched the office. They've ditched their home and have gone to foreign lands in order to become a digital nomad, meaning that they have taken their entrepreneurial skills and they're living in foreign countries. I'm studying to become a digital nomad. I say that because I have 2 online services from my company, Chez Valerie. I create the podcast. I also teach online speaking courses, public speaking courses. But what's interesting about the digital nomads is that it really is a new avenue for entrepreneurs who are adventurous. It's not for the weak of heart. There is a gentleman who creates wonderful videos and a podcast. His name is Nick. I listen to him all the time because he's based in Portugal. His podcast is called Algarve Addicts, which is a specific region of Portugal. He is starting to explore the digital nomads. His contact information is on my podcast details. I will share with you. This man has his fingers in every aspect of living in Algarve. When you look at his details, he will tell you that he can take you around Algarve. He will do a scheduled call. He can help you with real estate. He can help you with the Portuguese language. That's how I found my Portuguese teacher. What's important to know, however, about becoming a digital nomad, there are 5 things I want you to realize you need to do. Number 1, you need to have a viable business. That means you need to be either an S corporation, sole proprietorship, LLC, which is what I am. You can be incorporated. That's the first thing that's very important. You need to be a viable business also as far as income, because Portugal is one of the countries that absolutely boomed during the pandemic and allowed digital nomads to get a visa. Actually, Portugal is one of the only countries that has a visa specifically for digital nomads. So get going on having a viable business. The other thing that you want to do when it comes to exploring this whole avenue of being a digital nomad, you have to have a good internet connection. Everything I do is online. I don't have to have the strongest internet connection, but when you are giving a class online and you lose your connection, you're not going to have a happy student client. So that's number 3. Number 4, really learn enough language to have a conversation with people outside of your online business. You're going to need some basics as far as setting up your Wi-Fi. You're going to need to mail things, just everyday language, but pay attention to some of the business and service requests that you're going to need. I'm actually studying with Liz Sharma, and her contact information is also in my my podcast details. I'm studying with Liz Sharma because she teaches European Portuguese. It is not an easy language. I am exploring that country, and I'm exploring another European country. The last tip that you want to embrace, you really want to be an extrovert. Because Nick points out, and all of these ideas, quite honestly, came from listening to Nick's podcast, but it also has come about because I have been researching for the last year where I'm going to become a digital nomad. I'm going to make one country my base, but because Europe is relatively small compared to the United States, I will take time to work in another country. I'm going to keep that a secret. But for those of you who've been listening for a year or 2, I'm a Francophile, so guess what? Be an extrovert. Get out there and create your own network. You don't wait to meet somebody on Facebook. That is certainly a way, but you're there to create business opportunities for yourself. Nick's podcast, which is in my details, goes through this in depth, and he talks to one of his contacts who is a digital nomad. Pay attention to what he says. Start your homework. It's going to take a year to get your act together as far as applying for the digital nomad visa if you're doing Portugal. It's for the adventurous. It's not for everybody. I'm going to do a part 2, so this isn't the end of it. But the other thing that Nick brings up is that it's not this avenue of being a digital nomad. It's not just for the 20 and 30 years old. It's for people just like me who are in their 50s and 60s. And because we have so much business information, we want to share with other people and help them get a successful business online. So remember, you need to have a viable business, got to have income, you check out your internet connection, learn the language enough to get by, you'll learn it more when you live there, and be an extrovert. With Kundalini Yoga, you might think this is a stretch, the segue. However, Har Prakash has done a wonderful Kriya that helps you get rid of the past, eradicate it. Now, why would that be important to become a digital nomad? Because you're bringing baggage with you, psychological baggage, emotional baggage that you don't need when you move to a foreign country. And when this is a quantum leap. This is something you want to welcome in your life. If you're looking for different cultures, different experiences outside of your everyday home. And let's just say that's the United States. Therefore, when you practice this Kriya, it's going to help you become more focused. It's going to give you clarity on where you probably want to move in order to become a digital nomad. It's not just going to be a trend. This is becoming a real way of life for 16.9 million people in the United States. And Nick says he found the figure worldwide, it's 36 million. Therefore, if you're longing for adventure and taking your show on the road to another country, Digital Nomad is the place to be. And I'm going to do several podcasts about this because I'm studying it right now. I'm building my path to do that. And that's why that Kriya is also really important. And I do want to mention, when we're talking about different ways to clarify yourself and to focus and to open up yourself to new experiences, Soothe Our Souls is doing their spring fundraiser. You can go also on my podcast details. You can donate online, by the way, if you go to Soothe Our Souls website, which is on my podcast details. Dan Peretz has had this amazing charity. I don't know of another company, because it's a charter sailing company. I don't know of another company who has done something like this. The whole reason Soothe Our Souls exists is to help people who have either physical or mental disabilities. He takes them out once a month for free on his boat called Magic. It's a 51-foot sailboat. And that's one of the reasons they do fundraising, because they are basically taking people out on its beautiful excursion once a month on a Sunday, and it's costly. Also, he has created a huge, expansive wellness center. Well, the center itself is not that big, but the events and the classes have really expanded. Deja has come from India, and she and Dan just happened to cross paths, and now I believe she has about 8 teachers who teach all kinds of realms of yoga, the sound bath, the gong. They do a women's circle. One of the really cool things about this wellness center is you're 3 minutes from walking to the beach. You're also right on one of the estuaries from the Gulf. I believe it's the Intercoastal, right there when you're at the wellness center. So you can take a little stroll onto the dock and just experience just a beautiful place to have your wellness expanded. Lastly, wine. 750, I have mentioned many times, it's an industry newsletter, but it's an industry newsletter that anyone can read and glean some really amazing new information. They talk about not necessarily trends, but new things that are going on in the fine wine and spirits industry. This week, they talked about rosés. Anyone who's been listening, rosés are what I drink all year long when I choose to have a glass of wine. There are three that specifically stood out. One of them is Bubbles. So it's a sparkling wine from Tasmania, Australia. How cool is that? Another rosé is from Austria, and the varietal is going to be, the varietal is going to be Blanken something. I love the rosés from Austria. And the last one, of course, is French. All this is and that's a Saumur. So the one that's from Saumur is from the Loire Valley, and it's going to be Cabernet Franc. All three of these would be my top picks. When you click on the link for $7.50, it's that specific article. Also, it tells exactly which stores have them, and I'm quite sure that all these stores ship. So jump on the rosé bandwagon. To wrap this up, Digital Nomad, for me, it's not even a dream come true. I'm living the dream every day. I do some kind of research to get me closer and closer to make up my mind. In October, I'm going to one of the countries where I want to check out what it'll be like to live there. Kundalini Yoga, do that Kriya. Go online to donate to Soothe Our Souls. Their fundraiser is May 11th. You can actually go to the dock there and have wine and cheese party, or you can take a sunset sail. Now that boat is only 51 feet, but they might be taking out several of their boats. But what a lovely thing to do. May 11th, go to the dockside and have wine and cheese. I think it's $35. I'm not sure how much the sunset sale is, but all this goes towards Soothe Our Souls, and Dan's just an amazing human being. Check out 750, one of the best free newsletters in this industry you will ever run across in your life. No advertisements, okay? No ratings of wine. One of the best magazines ever. In conclusion, I'm Valerie Hale. I create this podcast once a week to help people create a blueprint for a life they deserve. I also provide online private public speaking courses called Fear of Public Speaking. Kick those thoughts to the curb. So I help people overcome their fears of speaking in public. Merci, au revoir.